Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, today I'm going to take a look at this little tiny whoop from Holy Stone. It's the HS210, little altitude hold, ducted fan, little tiny whoop here. I think it's really freaking awesome. It really flies awesome. Here it is, and it's just a little 1S powered, little brushed motor whoop. It's got some LEDs here in the front and the back, and it helps a little with orientation. The lights are not super easy to see. It's got 3 rate speeds. The yaw does increase, and it gets rather sporty in the highest rate. Does funnels really well. 360 flips. It does excellent 360 flips. Just a really nice little flyer. Maybe not going to be quite as ideal as a fully just stabilized manual little whoop, because it does have altitude hold, but still really nice on this little guy. And the nice thing is you don't get 1, you don't get 2, but you get 3 of these little LiPo batteries. Let me grab them here so you guys can see here. It's all 3 of those, and these are little I believe they were 220 milliamp. You're not going to be able to see it in my head cam, but it's a 3.7 volt, of course 1S LiPo, 220 milliamp hour. It takes around 40 minutes, it says, to charge it. The flight time I got was 5.5 minutes in my test flight. So about 2 minutes of that was the LVC, so it's a little bit long. And when the LVC hits, of course, it disables the ability to do 360 flips with this guy. Now I did fly it outside a little yesterday, and it doesn't do well outside with any wind at all. It's not that uncommon. These little ducted fans, the wind gets up in there and it just flips and tumbles to the ground. So I'm going to do this test flight today in my garage so you guys can see it. This is really meant to be an indoor flyer that you could fly it outside on an extremely calm day. If there's absolutely no wind whatsoever, it'll be just fine flying this little guy outdoors. So let me show you the charger. Here is the USB charger. It's got the 2 little ports you can choose. You can charge 2 of the 3 batteries at one time. Here's a USB little connector that'll put it into your wall or into a computer to charge. And again, it takes about 40 to 50 minutes, is what it says in the instruction manual, to charge these up. Has 2 red lights internally in here. Those will turn, I believe it turns green when this is fully charged. You also get some spare propellers, though you probably won't break these, but you could toss a prop, and that's what these are most likely for, in case you throw a prop. Your standard Phillips screwdriver, which it wouldn't be a toy drone if they didn't include one of those, and a prop removal tool. And here is the controller. Really nice little controller, as you can see, altitude hold because the left stick centers. This is it says auto takeoff and landing, but on takeoff it just fires up the props. You have to still manually give it throttle to take off, but it does do an auto landing. Here is your headless mode if you choose to use that. Get your 3 rate speeds here. Again, the yaw is proportional. It does go up with the rates, and it gets pretty sporty. I would not fly in the lowest rate unless you're an absolute beginner, because that's pretty sluggish. And here's your 360 flips button on this thing. So we'll take this thing up in the air and we'll fly it around, let you guys see, because I really am impressed with this little whoop, and I really love the fact that you get 3 batteries with this guy. So there's no on and off switch. You're just going to plug the little 2-pin connector in here to the bottom. Just go ahead and get a lot. Most of these whoops are like that. They don't come with any kind of on and off switch. You guys can see you got your green in the front and your red in the rear. Pretty standard color combination. No, it is nice. A lot of them have red in the front, green in the rear, but this one is green in the front and red in the rear. So let's go ahead and set it down. I'll show you the gyro calibration here. I'm going to set it down in the middle of my garage here, and then you just turn on your controller right here. It's an on and off switch. You have to do your binding sequence up and down. It makes a little beep beep sound, and you know the lights are now solid. Now to do a gyro calibration, it's both sticks down and to the left. And I can see the light flashing there, but you guys probably can't do it again. And you know it's doing it because of the confirmation beeps on the controller. So let's go ahead and we'll take it up now and fly it. So let's go ahead and press the motor unlock, and it's going, and now I have to give it throttle to take off. As you can see, altitude hold, so I don't have to give it any throttle. And that is the lowest rate, I believe. Let's go to there's the middle rate, and there's the highest rate. So let's try that again. Get it up higher so you guys can see. Lowest, middle, and let's move it over again. Let's get it down. There's your lowest. Well, I was in the Let's cycle those rates again. There's your low rate, there's your middle, and there's your highest. It's drifting on me some, so it's hard for me to keep it in the field of view. But I like the highest rate. It's really, look how sporty that is. You know, I'll take it down to the lowest rate, and look, it's much more ideal for a beginner. Really wide funnels. There's your middle rate. Intermediate or middle rate's plenty fine. If you're not very experienced, you know, I wouldn't go past that. It's really sporty. And let's go to the highest rate. Highest rate's just a little bit faster. A little more pitch. Look at those funnels. Let's do some 360 flips while we got battery power. Really nice tight flips. Again, get those flips out of the way early and often if you want to do those, because once it hits that LVC, it's going to disable those flips. I have a little breeze coming here in the garage, but my back door is closed to the garage, but that little bit of breeze is still enough to disrupt this guy and make him drift a little bit, so just be mindful of that. That this is really not meant to be an outdoor flyer. But with 3 batteries, you can charge up 2 of them, or if you want to get all 3 charged, you're going to give yourself, 15 plus minutes of flight time. But I would recommend giving the motors a little break of a few minutes between flights. All that heat is going to really build up, and you're going to shorten the lifespan of these little motors. Let's do an auto landing. You guys can see here. The light's flashing. Let's see. I think that's just telling me it's landing. And they're landing. Let's go ahead and fire the props back up and give it throttle. We still have enough battery for flips. We're not getting any LVC yet. Yeah, I really like this. Holy Stone sent me several of these drones, and this was the one I wanted to get reviewed here first. Well, I had one I reviewed a few weeks ago from them, but this current shipment, because this one's really nice. So if you're interested in this, I'll include a purchase link in the description to Amazon, where Holy Stone sells most of their stuff. I don't remember the price on this guy. It's not going to be too expensive. So as you guys can see here, we got a red flashing light in the back. That means we've reached the low voltage cutoff alarm, which means it's going to eventually just land itself. Being altitude hold, it's going to ease itself down like most of them. A drone that has no altitude hold is going to just usually just fall to the sky once it reaches that critical low voltage. Not only do the drones obviously get really weak as the battery drops, the voltage, but that cutoff is designed to save that LiPo battery. Because if that LiPo battery drops really low, it will ruin the LiPo battery. So LiPo batteries really need to be maintained. These little LiPo batteries, they don't have any kind of storage voltage on the charger. They tend to go bad after a year or so of sitting. And you got to really be mindful of that with these little batteries. Keep using them. Don't leave them sitting around fully charged. And if you run it all the way dead, charge that battery back up again in a few weeks, because they will go bad. They might puff a little bit. So that's why the low voltage does that. They're trying to save the batteries. But on a non-altitude hold drone, it's bad, because if you continue to want to fly it until it cuts off, that drone's going to kaplunk and fall out of the sky once it gets totally dead, because it can't land itself as easily with an altitude hold. They use it, altitude hold, it tends to be able to just ease itself down. Some of those, those drones with altitude hold tend to just kind of cut their motors. And see, this is a long low voltage, as you guys can see. And you can see the power's dropping. I can still fly it decent, but a few times it clunked to the ground. As you guys can see, I can't do flips anymore. That's because flips require a good fresh amount of voltage, and they're saying, hey, this drone's not going to do a good flip anymore. It would be a really clumsy flip, and you probably end up crashing it now. But you can keep flying this guy, and again, it'll just ease itself down, at least it should, when it reaches that critical cutoff. You can see it's kind of 5.5 minutes total is not bad for a little whoop, though I would like to have it reach low voltage not so soon. So ideally, a slightly higher milliamp battery on this would be nice, but even these whoops, I mean, when you go up milliamps, you're going to go up in battery size and weight. Now that weight's going to affect the flight time some, but it's just a matter of, you're not going to get much bigger LiPo in this little frame. So it's pretty standard. 5.5 minutes is more than fine. It just seemed to me like they may have the low voltage cutoff set a little higher than I'd like. You probably could get another minute before it probably really needs to notify you. But yeah, this is, I mean, look how nice this flies. Really responsive. Really nice, quick yaw, and there we cut off, and you can see it landed. Now, some of these non-altitude hold might land okay. Just a lot of times they just tend to fall. The altitude holds will always sort of kind of ease themselves down, and they know when they reach the ground, the gyro lets them know, and then it turns everything off. But it lands itself, which is nice, what you want. So this is a nice little whoop. Should be pretty darn affordable. Again, I don't recall the exact price of this offhand for this little guy, but it's not going to be very expensive. You get 3 batteries, and it flies great, flips great, and if you just want something to fly with no camera, no Wi-Fi, no gimmicks, and it's not going to hurt the wallet, go for this little guy. Again, it's on Amazon, so you don't have to worry about waiting a month from China, or if something's wrong with it, Amazon's going to take care of you without any questions asked. All right, guys, that wraps up the review of the little Holy Stone Whoop. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you know when I do upload new videos. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark side.